Hey everyone, welcome to Unearth with Shelly Hughes. I'm Shelly Hughes. Today we're talking about the perfect business model. There's a lot of business models out there for both service-based industries to product industries to there's been this whole, course industry that's going rampant. But today I want to talk about how you can think of your current business model and how you can make it something that is really something that is scalable and can help you buy back your time a little bit. Again, this is Unearth. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of business and entrepreneurship. I love to talk about the lessons learned, the epic fails, the wins, the losses of everything that it takes to grow a passionate, profitable brand. So let's talk about this perfect business model. We think of business models in a lot of different ways. It can be an exchange of hours. So I will give you an hour of my time. You will give me money for that 1 hour. It can be for product. So I have this inventory that I need to sell, and you will give me money for this product. But especially with kind of our more digital space, it has opened up entrepreneurs to be so much more flexible in the businesses that we open, in the businesses that we run, and it allows us to honestly have a lot of that passive income. It allows us to have a little bit more flexible schedules too, where we are not, we don't have to be stuck in the office. We don't have to be stuck in client meetings all day long. We don't have to be stuck in, doing things that are just kind of draining us. And it's tough because we might love that kind of stuff. I love fractional CMO work. I love working one-on-one with clients, especially, those small to medium-sized businesses that, they just have some challenges that they need to get out of their own head about to find the solution to. That's what I love to do. Here's the thing. It's not scalable. I only have a certain amount of hours in the day. I only have a certain amount of creative bandwidth that I can produce. And so if I'm doing that fractional CMO work with a client, it's going to be a high value, high ticket item. But today I kind of want to challenge you on how can you think of your business model so that it can work more with your lifestyle. Because really, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you want to set up your business so that you don't really have to take a vacation from it. I'm not saying don't take vacations, but you want to set up a business where you're not exhausted and burnt out and you're like, oh, I just need to go to the Bahamas, or I need to go down the shore. I need to take a break. We all deserve breaks, but we shouldn't have to get to that point of exhaustion and our body forcing us to take a break, whether it's forcing us to take a vacation or forcing us to take a break because it makes us so sick that we're sick in bed because our body's just so run down. What's also interesting is, I don't really expect to ever retire, right? I want to build a business to be something that I will do pretty much until I physically can't do it anymore. Retirement's really interesting. I just heard these stats. Once you retire, you are at like a 65% higher chance of getting a chronic illness. You're like a 70 some percent chance of getting on a prescription medication. You are so much more higher chance of depression, right? And that's all post retirement. And I'm like, okay. And that's like the typical retiree, right? They work so hard for 65 years of their life to then do nothing. They don't really know what to do after retirement. And if you made a lot of money and if you made the right, right choices, you might be able to go off on vacations and do things like that. But the typical retiree, they don't know what to do with themselves, and they kind of get in this sedative, state. And that's really not what I want. So I think for a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, I don't think a lot of us are ever going to retire, especially if we love what we do. So how can we set our businesses up so that we're not working 9 to 5, every single day into our 70s, but we're still doing something. We're still being creative. We still have this value that we're adding to our business community and the people within it, that it's not stripping us. And why can't we live that life today? Right. So today I'm going to talk about that perfect business model and how you can kind of rethink your business to kind of fit some of these pillars. There's some pillars that I put together that I like to call D.A.R.E.S. That's kind of the acronym of what is the perfect business model. First one, and I kind of already said this one, is digital, right? If we can have a digital business model, you've heard of digital nomads. And I'm not saying go to, go to Switzerland or somewhere in the Caribbean and work and be a digital nomad. I'm not exactly saying that, but here's the thing. Being a digital nomad and a digital entrepreneur is a thing because of that. I know people who, they just get a big van and they work from cafes and they travel all over Europe and but they still do their work, right? Digital product is so important, or a digital environment for your business is so important because you can take it anywhere. Last thing I want to do is to clock in and clock out at a location, right? That's so pre-COVID of us. But my husband, he works in the hospital, and if he gets paid, if he's there, and he does not get paid if he's not there. And I just, you know, and on the flip side, I can't imagine that. But on the flip side, he can't imagine it with me because I'm always on, because our business is primarily digital. I am always thinking about it. I can always open up my laptop. I can always work. I can always answer emails, but he doesn't even open his emails when he's not at work, sitting at work. So it's definitely a pro and con, but I think it's that digital piece that really makes everything else that much more attainable. The second one is automated. How can you make your business automated? How can you utilize different kind of softwares to respond to customer service? How can you create standard operating procedures where you can hire people to do certain things and you don't have to be there? You don't have to be, worried about, how, whether it's customer service or something else. So an example of that is the ManyChats tool, right? You can, using ManyChats, you can literally in your sleep be able to turn a follower into a lead just by using this automated tool, right? So how can you use automation in your business and so that you're literally making money or making leads while you sleep? The third one is recurring, right? And I kind of recurring or like subscription. I fully believe that every business can and should have a subscription model attached to it. It's, there's a lot of different benefits for this. It's predictable, right? You know what your cash flow is going to look like. Recurring revenue. It really improves customer loyalty, right? It lowers customer acquisition costs. So you're not, if you're just selling individual project by project, you constantly have to be spending so much time and resources and then in turn money in the new business of each of those. But if you can have the subscription service, that overhead for new business goes way down. There's easier upselling and cross-selling opportunities, better customer insights, right? So I guess we can go through some of these, but really the biggest thing for me is the scalability piece. If you can have something that is subscription based and you can have something that is, recurring in revenue, you can have such a predictable forecast into what your future is going to look like. So if you need to switch around, your current resources, that's fine. But really the biggest thing is it's those marketing costs. You do not have to worry about a lot of that overhead that a regular, company would have to worry about, of trying to get people in the door of their brick and mortar, or trying to, send out all these all these RFPs or requests for proposal to get, one project from one company, right? So it brings a lot of those marketing costs down. And like I said, really improves that cash flow. The other thing with the subscription and the recurring piece is it has to be evergreen. So it doesn't have to be, but it really helps be evergreen. If you can, and that goes into the automated thing too. You don't, the perfect middle business model is you develop this product, whatever this product is. It's a digital product. It's an automated product. But here's the thing: you never have to change it. It's it's what it is. Never really going to change. And that's why, we have been thinking about a lot of different products that are related to social media, because social media is such a pain in the ass for a lot of our clients that they don't want to do it. And they might not be able to afford a full team to come in and do it for them. I'm like, okay, how can we teach people the social media thing and let them do it on their own? But what I realized is it cannot be an evergreen product. Social media is constantly changing. So if we put out one product all about social media, maybe it's an educational resource or whatever, we're gonna have to change it in 3 months, right? You know, now, because in the original product it would say, hey, make sure all your content is 1 by 1 squares. Not anymore. Now they're vertical. So you have to go back in and change it and re-upload it and send out updates, and it just takes up more of your energy and your time. The last one is scalable. You have to make sure it's scalable. And I think each of these things relates to the scalability of it. The goal is that you could have a million customers without increasing overhead. And that is the key to the perfect business model, is scalability. How can you, and maybe, you might have to pay a little bit more because you have a bigger email list or something like that. But how can you take whatever is in your brain or whatever service that you do, how can you productize it? How can you digitize it, automate it, make it recurring and subscription based, make it evergreen so that it can scale? So, you know, if you get 5 more clients, you don't have to hire anyone to do work for those clients. It's just, okay, 5 more clients, they get the same exact product, it's automated, they get it in their inbox, and they don't even have to talk to me. And here's the thing, that could just be a part of your sales funnel, right? The bottom of the sales funnel could be, like I do with my fractional CMO work, could be that high ticket item one-on-one work, or it could be group work, right? If we're talking marketing, for example. So this might be kind of middle of the funnel, right? It could be like a lower ticket item that someone can subscribe to, that can then funnel into a higher ticket item if that's what you want. But whatever you want the bottom of that funnel to be, that is your ideal product, right? It's that higher ticket item that you want people to get to. But here's the thing. This perfect business model, that might be the bottom of the funnel because you don't really want anything else. And that, my friend, is how you're going to feel like you never want to retire, because you just love what you do every day and you have the freedom to move and change and go on vacation and do what you want. But I believe that every single business has an opportunity to have these elements at least be part of your business, if not the entire business model. I truly believe every single business can be digital. Every single business can be scalable in some way and subscription based. It's just getting a little bit creative on how to do it. And most importantly, how to translate that value to customers. Just some Shelly thoughts for this beautiful, almost spring day. Is it spring? I'm not quite sure. Recording this in the beginning of March, so not sure. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time. If you think someone needs to hear this, send it their way. Really helps. Please rate and review the podcast. And if you have any business ideas that you want to bounce off me, I'd love to hear them. I'll sign any NDA you want. Don't mind. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you.